Hey guys, I just wanted to use that sweet intro that Bob from Award Racing created for the Zed Legends League. I can't get enough of it. So welcome to the XP NFT live stream here that I am doing. Keith is going to be joining me. He's in a work meeting, so he's going to pop on probably in like 15 minutes or so. Let me actually ping him right now and let him know that he can jump on whenever. Um, so I'm gonna do a quick rundown on like the basics of XP NFTs. I want to show everyone how to swap, how to basically buy Zed, since there's no like purchase option on the Zed platform. Hopefully, that's something that is coming eventually. But I wanted to kind of memorialize that, and I will probably chop that up and post it on YouTube as its like own thing, because it's kind of an important piece to these XP NFT puzzles, is being able to purchase Zed tokens, since you need it to mint these XP NFTs. Yeah, I feel like that's a really really important piece, knowing how to acquire it if you didn't get any from the drop. So as people are kind of trickling in here, again, Keith is going to be joining me. I just sent him a message, probably 10 to 15 minutes. Jump in whenever. So if anybody has any questions on XP NFTs, I'll try my best to answer them. Just drop them in the chat here, and Keith and I will go over them once he shows up, or if it's a quick question, I'll get to it. We're going to talk a little bit once Keith gets here on strategy, determining which horses we think they're best utilized on in our stables right now, and potentially other strategies for other stables. Like I said, I'm going to show real quick how to buy Zed token. I'm going to do a quick demo of minting the XP NFT, which I think is pretty slick. You know, it took them long enough to deploy this, but I'm really happy with the product that came out. It's really a smooth user experience. So that's a one big positive to me. And then a couple other things that Keith and I are going to go over, some ideas for how we think this might evolve. And then I'm sure Keith is going to talk about why he hates XP, because that's his thing. So anybody got any questions out there, drop it in the chat again. And I'm going to share my screen here, and we will go over how to buy Zed token first. What's up, Kyle? Overall thoughts on the release so far? I think it's been good. I mean, you know, there was a couple hiccups early, but some people in the Zed General kind of pointed out, like with any game release, there's always little bugs and stuff like that. I mean, this one, they said it was going to be ready 3-4 weeks ago, I think, and they kept pushing it back to resolve the bugs. So it really needed to be pretty polished, I felt like, and I really do. I like the experience. It's really easy to mint these. What's up, Mike? Welcome, guys. Yeah, Keith and I will talk a little bit about this. I think our strategy is definitely to prioritize the variance horses with upside, but it really depends on what you've got in your stable and where they're at in their progression. You know, some people built their stables to, you know, play more down in the lower classes and with more stable horses. So you may not have those, and that doesn't mean that XP NFTs aren't going to be useful for you. What's up, Lobo? Moon Mountain, my man is back. What's up, buddy? It's good to see some people getting back into Zed, you know, at least trying out the XP stuff, because I really do think, you know, as much as a lot of people don't like the vision, we should at least give it a chance, right? Like this, I really think that there's some new strategies that have opened up and different ways to play the game, which is what Zed has needed for years. Like the game didn't work with all of us playing the same exact game. Blockchain Racing Zone, what's up, man? Okay, so real quick, Keith told me he didn't even know how to buy Zed token. So let me share my screen. There's a few different ways to do it and a few exchanges that have it. What I have always used is Sushi Swap, because I've been buying Zed token for like a year now. I have an insane amount of Zed token. So full disclosure, I am very committed to Zed token bullishness. I kind of bought it like the whole way down, because, you know, it started at like 10 cents and it's like a little under 2 cents right now. So Sushi Swap, here we are. It is sushi.com, and it's going a little bit slow for me here. All right, so here's what Sushi looks like. So feel free to keep dropping any questions in here. Yeah, health benefit options. Keith and I will discuss this once he shows up. All right. So buying Zed token. I'm going to put this into a yeah. We'll talk also, Ty, about our thoughts on the price and what the value is. I think there's some time value to consider with these, and really the price is never going to be as high. They're never going to be more valuable than they are today. And so Keith and I will discuss that a little bit too. What's up, Pacific Northwest? Okay, so back to purchasing Zed token, because this is really important that people know how to do this for this to ever succeed. So Sushi Swap, I think, is the easiest way to do this, and you can just go to sushi.com, and I'll show. I think it's sushi.com. Anything sushi.com will take you to the right place here. So once you're at Sushi here, you got to connect your wallet. So we're using MetaMask here. So I've connected our main wallet here, and then it's on Matic. This is a Polygon token, Zed token. So you have to switch from Ethereum network to Polygon. And so MetaMask is going to ask me to switch. Yes, I want to switch from Ethereum to Matic or Polygon, whatever you want to call it. So then from there, you're going to click swap up here. All right. And this is what their platform looks like. You can swap any different types of tokens if you're not familiar with this. So we're going to be swapping our wrapped Ethereum, WETH, as people call it. And this is the Ethereum that shows on our Zed account that we're using for racing and breeding and stuff. So we've got one Ethereum in this wallet here, and we're going to be swapping just a little bit of that since we already have a lot of Zed token. Kevin probably doesn't want me buying a whole lot more. So we've got 149,000 Zed token in this wallet. So I'm going to swap 0.025, so like $50 worth of our WETH here for Zed token. So this is going to get us 2,674. So you have to do a couple of approvals here. And this is not financial advice. Let me be clear. Got to set a spending limit. I'll just say 1. All right. Just do your approvals here. And then it'll take a second here to approve. Then I can swap. I thought it was going to make me approve Zed token, but I guess not. All right. So we're going to swap this. Confirming. All right. Now, this is one weird thing that you should be aware of with MetaMask. It's showing this gas as $55 and 0.28 Ethereum, but that's not accurate. This is a bug that's existed with MetaMask for the longest time. This is actually Matic, and Matic, I think it's like 50 cents or $1 or something for one Matic. So 0.02 is like 2 cents. This is like 2 cents in gas. But for some reason, it shows it in Ethereum, and I think that I mean, it freaked me out the first time that I saw, wait, I'm spending that much to do this swap. But no, it's like 3 cents is all that this is going to cost. So I'll click confirm here. And hopefully Zed gets this built into their platform. Hopefully I don't know where it should be on their priority list, right? I mean, I know everybody wants sit and goes. Everybody wants breeding 3.2. This seems like a pretty important piece of the puzzle to not make new users jump through this hoop of going over to a third party. And, it's so easy to make mistakes doing these swaps. So it's done here. We swapped 0.025 WETH for 2,671 Zed token. All right. So if we go back now, let me see if Keith is here. Keith is not here yet. Okay. Let me just see if we've got any questions here. What's up, DK? Avon, what's happening, man? Chart or something to see level by level XP values by breed type. Yes. Let me find that, actually. BG has that. And let's see. I know I pinned it somewhere. I was just sharing that with Kevin today. Here, I got the link right here. Copy. All right, dropping it in the chat for you guys. I believe this is the link to what you're looking for. Let me know if that's what you wanted there, Avon. Yeah, I think you can actually swap directly through MetaMask. I don't know. I've never done it, so I'm showing the way that I know how to do it. I don't know how gas fees compare or anything like that, but maybe somebody else can make a video on swapping directly from MetaMask. Maybe that is the easiest way to do it. So anyway, let's go now. Mint our Keith said he'll be here in a few minutes. I know everybody wants Keith on the show. He's the draw here. Oh, here he is, hopping on soon. Yeah, we're looking for you, Keith. Okay, so let me go back to Zed now that I've purchased this Zed token. Switch this tab. So one thing you'll notice here is we switched networks over to Polygon Matic, and so now I'm on the wrong network for Zed. We have to get back to main Ethereum. Switching network. All right. So from here, you can mint your XP NFTs by clicking craft up here. I've already got 5 of them. I was going to show kind of attaching them to horses too, but we've got 1,700 XP in our pool, so we got enough for one more. So I'll click craft. This is really smooth. I really like the look of all this. It's just a really easy process, which is really important for Zed because it's such a confusing game, and so much of the user experience is not easy and not intuitive. So it's crafting, and I'll have it in a second. It says I've got it. So now we got 6. It's like instantaneous. So I got 6 to use now. And so now I'm going to go find the horses that I want to use them on. I talked to Kevin about this, and we are going to we did 2 on file format this morning. We used 2 on Notorious. File format's at like, I think it was like 559. And it's one of those horses that we've kind of been waiting to level up. We got a few of them that just aren't in good spots in the progression system. They're really not going to be profitable. And now we can level them much faster. So I think that that's a really good use. And then, these horses that have been trapped here in the low 600s that don't have any segmented racing, we know that 601 to 650 segment is coming. It sounds like maybe next week, and Zed, you never know. It might be a month from now, but it would be good to get these nice variance horses that we have up into, the 630s. Then they should do really well in that 601 to 650 bracket. So from here, I click XP Boost, and I'm going to add, we'll just do 1 on Avison here and apply this XP Boost. And it's pretty quick here. It says I can close it. Keith, you here yet? There he is. Donkey Keith. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know XP is like your favorite thing in the world, and you're dying to come talk about this stuff with me.
Hold on, I got to change my mic. I'm not hearing out of here. Hold on.
Here's a question from
Lo. There we go. All right.
Do you need to have 1,000 XP to craft one? Yes, you do. You can't craft. That's the minimum. So you have to have that 1,000 XP. And then you also need to have 50 cents worth of Zed token, which right now is like, I think it started at like 29 Zed token or something like that. So if you don't have 1,000 XP and you don't have 50 cents worth of Zed token, and it's pegged to US dollar now, remember, they made a wise move with this one, Keith, and didn't peg it to Ethereum like breeding.
I know. Breeding's the one thing that's gotta be unpegged, but yeah. I agree. Sorry I'm coming in dark. I don't know why all of a sudden the last couple streams I'm dark on camera.
Oh, it's because you're evil. You're an evil empire.
I think so. Seems right.
How long do you got? I know you had said originally like 10 minutes, so I don't want to.
Yeah, 10-15 minutes probably. And
okay, just let me know when you got to hop off. Cool. So I've now showed how to buy Zed token. I've showed how to mint the XP NFT, and now I've showed how to attach it to the horse. Really the basics. Everyone that's in here probably already knew that. So now we can get to a little bit more fun stuff here, Keith, talking about which horses we are going to target. So I said before you jumped on here that Kevin and I used 2 on file format this morning. File format was like a 559 nice variance Genesis that has just kind of been, laying in the weeds, waiting for an opportunity to not lose money. So we figure we'll run file format in this 551 to 600 segment this week, try to qualify for that tournament, use this XP boost, and try to get her out of this no man's land that she's in as quickly as possible. So I think that's always going to be one of the optimal strategies with these XP NFTs, is to try to boost your horse out of a spot in the progression system that is not ideal, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's like probably number one, something that's low in a class, low in a conditional band. Like you said, 559 is a perfect one. Just to, you can race a few times, maybe qualify if you get a couple wins, but by the end of it, even just through running, 10 races, you might be now with an XP boost up into the, I don't know, 570s, where you're much more competitive rather than just being sitting there in the low 560s. I think the other way to use them, and probably how I'll start with the very limited ones I'll have, if I qualify a horse into a tournament, throw it on them before the tournament races run that already have an XP multiplier on them. And then that's like your instant gratification of, even if you're losing the race, if you're getting a 25 XP multiplier or 10x or whatever it may be, if you then have the XP NFT on it, you'll instantly gain more. I know not all the tournaments nowadays are running with boosted XP, but like we just put Crimson. I think we'll have Crimson in the free weekly tournament, and I think the free one has like a small XP boost to it. So I was going to say to you, like, when those tournaments are going to run, we can do the math, see how much XP they're paying out. At least in the quarterfinal race, it's at 1,400. She's probably not going to win, but at some minimum, she's getting some bonus of XP. Throw a few of those on her, and you're getting instant gratification to get out. So I think those are probably the 2 ways I would use them.
Yeah. And potentially, you breed a horse and it's way down there at 401 or something like that. It's like, what do you do with that horse right now?
Low in the class. Low in the class is the obvious one, and that speaks to maiden as well. I know we don't know all the details. It sounds like we're getting a maiden for next week. So that's interesting. So I haven't heard that for the turning races.
I hadn't either. So it's Avon, can you clarify that's 100% of XP winnings in tournaments will be applied to the horse? Let's see if Avon can clarify.
Either way, assuming you can multiply those, that's where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck.
Even more so. Yeah.
And then the other one is the maiden too, and that speaks to your point. Like, you breed a new horse, if it's lower than where you want, you can put them on at the very beginning. You run your maiden, your Griffin race, throw it XP NFT on once you see the level, and then at least you're competing in free races in a maiden. Go up a little higher. If you start middle, maybe work yourself up higher. If you qualify for the maiden, then all of a sudden you're getting XP bonuses and you have a better horse. So that's probably the other one.
Yeah, Siberian X. There's definitely many ways to cook this goose, as they say. It really depends on your kind of stable strategy, what you're looking to do. I mean, there's people that just want to play at the top, right? And so, like, I would imagine Southern Farms is putting all of these on his top horses. He doesn't care that Kevin and I discussed this, right? And he's like, file format would be a good use. It's going to move the needle much more when you're lower in the class, because it takes less XP to move up a level. So you see the difference, and you're able to move into those better places. Up, if we throw this on RSB, like, yeah, you're getting that XP multiplier, right? And it's making a difference, but you just don't see it. The impact is taking a while. So I think the better use for those top end horses is, like you're saying, Keith, when you've qualified for. I mean, eventually, right? We're going to have this on all of our horses. Like, it's
if you have so much of it, then yes,
right?
Yeah,
it's a different game right now, and this is why you look at the prices. And right now, I think they're selling for $7.50 or something in that ballpark on secondary market. You're minting them for 50 cents, right? 50 cents worth of Zed. And that number is just going to keep coming down, right? And this is not rocket science. Like, there's no way that number doesn't come down, because time value right now, these are the most valuable. Supply is the smallest, and you're able to move the needle relative to all other horses in the population the most right now, because there's only so many of them, and there can only be so many right now, and it'll be exponential growth, right? So that's the idea behind this pricing, and we don't know where that price ends up settling once the supply does, really take off. We know that it's going to be a lot lower than it is today, but that's the reason that there's an argument to spend that money right now, right? Not financial advice. I don't know if it ends up paying off because there's so many different variables here, but that's the reason that there's more value in them today than there's going to be a week from now, even tomorrow, or especially a month, a year from now, right?
I think it'll be pretty quick. And like, I don't know where these things settle, but we do have we know a floor, right? 50 cents it costs to mint. So you'd be stupid to sell below that, right? That like your cost is 50. I assume it's going to get very close to 50 cents. XP, I don't want to say is free, right? But you can sit there and farm free races all day long. Yeah, your time's worth something, but if you're multitasking or whatever, it's, you're still playing a game. It's maybe not. And then, like, are people going to mint for 50 cents and sell for $1? That seems like too much of a quick return. I think these things probably get down close to 50 cents would be my guess. I don't know if it takes a day, 5 days, 30 days, but it's probably quicker than we think. I would say within a week or two, they're pretty cheap.
I don't know.
But we'll see.
I mean, I don't want to like anchor the community on where I don't think it's going to get that close to 50. That there's a time aspect to it, right? Where like what's how much do you value your time? And of course, there's going to be people in the Philippines, grinding that don't value their time that much and bring that floor down. But still, they're going to want to make $1 an hour or something like that at least to play this game,
But what if you have a bot? I mean, we've seen free races are probably more susceptible to botting. You get XP in free races. I don't know. I'm seeing like all the lent out horses I have that have been stagnant for months today are suddenly going bonkers racing. People are just throwing them in freeze because the lendee gets to keep that 25% for his or her stable. So they're going bonkers now running my horses in freeze because they get to keep that 25% too. So yes, it's still time-based, but it's also not even a horse that they spent money on, right? So like the cost of ownership is lower in many cases. And yes, time's worth something, but I'm going to guess at large scale, it's going to be pretty small.
We'll see. Hopefully this isn't a static thing either. And this is one of the other things that I wanted to discuss a little bit on this show, Keith. Like, I really think that this, it's super basic. We know that this is super basic right now. There's so many different ways they can transform it. The question is, where is that going to fall in their priorities? And do we not see that for another 12 months or something like that? Because if this was a lottery aspect, right, and you spent 1,000 XP every time, right, and you spent your 50 cents worth of Zed token, and you could hit the jackpot and land an XP NFT that was 100,000 XP and came with a 10x multiplier, right? That's pretty damn valuable. And that just changes the whole dynamic, and it adds this, rush to minting these things. Now it's like, well, I mean, it's exciting right now today because they're new and it moves the needle relative to all the other horses in the pool. But, the honeymoon phase is going to die out pretty quick. But if they build some stuff in there like that, and maybe you roll snake eyes and you get the snake oil XP NFT, and it's like, oh, you get 10 XP and it's a 1x multiplier. Sorry, that's like 1 in 100. Maybe they don't want to be that harsh, but if you can hit the jackpot, there should be some downside too. Maybe the downside is just getting the regular one. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't thought this through, but the other way they could do it is make it class dependent too. So in theory, you could have XP earned by C1 horses only able to be put on C1 horses, and you're kind of segmenting the market. That would probably be more valuable than something earned in lower classes. So there's ways they could go about it, but ultimately, at the end of the day, this is going to become pretty liquid very soon. So I expect prices to come down. Doesn't mean you shouldn't buy them, like you said today. If you have a reason to move out, or you got a horse qualified and they're going to race, in a few nights for a tournament, and you want to juice them up, like paying, a few dollars might make sense to do that if you get that XP bonus. So I think there's multiple ways to go about it.
Yeah, I think if you've got a horse that's qualified for a tournament with a multiplier, and you think it has any decent chance, right? I think you got to get that XP on there, assuming you want it at a higher level. That's another thing that we need to mention here, right? If file format gets to 5 580 here, we don't want XP NFTs on file format because we want to maximize our time in that 580 to 600 range, because that's going to be very profitable. There's going to be a high return on investment racing good horses in that sweet spot. So that's another aspect to think about. And I've said this before on the Arbitrage Run Show with Kevin, somebody's going to build a tool. Hopefully the Zed or Z Lead or Z Sim is already on this, right? Where you put in, my horse is this bloodline, it's at this level, and I want to get to this level, and it tells you exactly how many XP NFTs will get you there, because you can't take them off. Right. So you can't take these off once file format hits that 580 level. If we miss the mark and we put too many on, we're going to keep leveling faster than we want to at that point. So that's another interesting wrinkle of strategy that it adds to the game. And, say what you will about progression and XP and all that, it does add other elements of strategy to the game, right, Keith?
Yeah, and to take that one step further, even worse than blowing through something like 580 would be having XP NFTs left over on a horse that maxed out in its class or at 700, right? That's by far the worst. You can't unequip them. So if you loaded 50,000 XP NFTs on there and only end up using 20,000 of them, and the horse gets to its max level, you now have 30,000 that you just wasted, right? You can't take them off that horse. They cannot get used. You will not get them back. So that is even more important to keep in mind, rather than just passing up, a place to win ETH.
And we don't know how that's programmed, because let's say you get to 500 and you messed up and you've got, 20 XP NFTs equipped on this horse. Maybe down the road, I think there's going to be a way to evo up and level up horses, at least the legendaries and exclusives, into class 1. Maybe at that time, then it reactivates and you get to use that at least. But we don't know for sure. We don't know how that's all going to work out. Blockchain Racing says that you're just trying to tank the price so you can buy all the XP NFTs. That's definitely what's going on here. We didn't talk about the basics, and you hit it in the chat. This is the problem. When I get so deep into Zed, I forget to talk about the real basics, because it's second nature to me. So the way that it now works with this XP, stable XP, 25% of XP that is earned in a race by a horse goes to the stable. And if that horse is lent out, it's going to the borrowing stable. So they get 25%, and then 75% is still being applied to the horse. So that's the math there.
And you can't change that. That is not up for, if you wanted to keep 100%, that is non-negotiable.
And hopefully that's some functionality that we get down the road. Our wish list for Zed is endless. And I don't know where that type of stuff falls in the priority list, but it's probably not anytime in 2023 would be my guess. I did pull an example of, because I think a common question is well, what's the difference between putting 1 or 3 XP NFTs on a horse or equipping 50? Is that just a quality of life type improvement where you don't have to worry about it as often? And like you said, Keith, you kind of alluded to it. If you're in one of these big tournaments with a big XP multiplier, and I've got an example here. My brother and I own this horse, Frantic Devotion. And Frantic Devotion was in the 551 to 600 bracket and qualified for the tournament, I think 2 weeks ago or something like that here, July 2nd. Yeah. And had a good run, won the quarterfinal, won the semifinal, won the finals, and leveled up substantially there, gained 10 levels there. So I pulled the numbers from those races, and I'll go back over here to my spreadsheet. And you can see in that quarterfinal race that Frantic Devotion won, gained 4150 XP, semifinals gained 8300 XP, finals gained 12,450 XP. So again, 75% of that is going to the horse now. So
although we just found out in chat, right, that in a tournament race, it's actually not the 75-25. If I read that correctly, I can't confirm that, but it sounds like
allegedly, according to Avon. And if that's incorrect, blow him up and blame him for giving out bad information.
I believe him, but I haven't seen that, so I can't confirm it. But it seems at least plausible that that's the way it would work. Yeah,
it's plausible at the very least. Well, I use these numbers. Maybe it's 100%, but just for this example, here's what I was thinking when I had the information that I did when I mapped this out. So you need, if you have just one XP NFT equipped to this horse and it runs the quarterfinal, right? You get your, let's say 4150. Let's say if it's 100%, you get your 4150. and then you're only going to get another 1,000 because each XP NFT is 1,000. And once you reach that number that's equipped to your horse, it's gone. It's been exhausted. So you would need to have 7 XP NFTs to reach the maximum number. And again, this is assuming that it's 75%. That's what I'm going off of. If it was the full amount, you would need 9, right? Because it would be doubling. You get 2 times. This stuff is so confusing trying to explain it. You get 2 times whatever the number is. So 8,300 would be 2 times the 4,150 or 62 if it's on the 75% number. And that's a static number, that 2 times multiplier, at least in its current form. There's no, so I think intuitively, some people think like, oh, if I've got 10 XP NFTs equipped to my horse, I should get a 10x multiplier, right? But I think the issue with that is it makes it too far in the pay to win, right? Because not everybody's going to be able to afford. Smaller stables may only be able to have 1, and they need to keep replenishing that 1, right? And you don't want to put them at too much of a disadvantage in this whole scheme. So I think that's the idea behind it, right?
Agreed. Yep.
So in this example, with Frantic Devotion running the table, taking first in the quarters, the semis, and the finals, total gain here, this is the total eligible XP boost. So you would have needed 38 XP NFTs to take full advantage of maximum potential XP gains in this race. And again, that's assuming the 75% number. If we do it based on this number, I guess it's just this, add another 25% to this. So I can't do the quick math. We don't have Kevin here to big brain this.
You'd need close to max. You'd need close to the 50. It'd be somewhere in the mid to high 40s. Yeah.
Right. So any questions on that? I don't know. We may have made it more confusing with Avon saying that it's 100% and not 75-25 in these tournaments. But I think that the principle is, oh, here we go. It's been confirmed by Ryan. Okay. So it is 100%. Let me just redo the numbers since we're here, right? And we've got the actual information. So in tournaments, this is no longer true, right? And so we're going to use...
You can do the rough math, like 12 plus 8 plus the 4, you're at almost 25,000 XP earned. So you need the 50 XP NFTs to get the full advantage of getting the 2x multiplier on those in this example.
Yeah, here we go. I got it. A quick update here for everybody. Okay. So this is how it works, apparently. Should black this out. This is beautiful. Okay. So 2x.
So there you go. You'd need all 50. Yep.
You would need exactly 50. Now, one other thing here, there's time between the quarterfinal and the semifinal, right? So if you don't, you're not sure about this horse, right? Like you just want to equip the, 9 because you know that the maximum that it's going to get from that race is 8,300. So it's like, I'll have 9 on there. We'll see what happens. I haven't committed too much. And then, oh, it won. Now I want to add, another 17 to it really quick. But you're going to have to be sitting there, right? So it's like, are you playing more passively? And do you want to have all 50 equipped on this horse because you like its chances and you don't want to have to sit there and watch it, right? Or are you this type of player that's like, I'm going to watch the quarterfinal and then real quick, I'm going to go buy 17 more if it advances. So I have the chance at getting the maximum, right?
Right. Yep. That's a good point. If you are around and you want to space it out, you can equip for the quarterfinal and then figure out what to do after that.
Okay, here's more from Ryan. XP tournaments are a reward on top of the racing loop meant to progress horses, not to be converted to XP NFTs and allocated to other horses who didn't actually participate in the event. Well, there you go. So yeah, it's all being applied to the horse. Thanks for clarifying that, Avon. Now that was June 27th. We don't know if that changed, right?
That's true. And then there was just another question too by Moon Mountain. So XP NFTs disappear when you use them. They're like a single race boost, and no, they're not a single race boost. They're used until you go through the entire 1,000 XP. It could be one race if it's a big race. It could be 10 races if you get 100 XP. Well, it wouldn't be 10, but whatever. It could be a handful of races. If you're getting 100 XP per, you multiply that by 2 and you're removing it from your bank. So it stays on the horse. They do disappear, but they're not one race and done. They will get used up until you use the whole 1,000.
Correct. So to answer the first question, they do disappear when you use them. From my understanding, how it works is you're burning that XP NFT and your horse is getting this boost. So if you think of this as like, Facundo explained it as like a gas tank. So you've got this XP tank on each horse, and they have the capacity for 50 XP NFTs, which is 50,000 XP. So you equip one XP NFT to it. The XP NFT itself gets burned, it's gone, and your horse now has 1,000 XP in its boost tank. And as you race, you'll get 3 times whatever is going to the horse. So the normal 1 times that you would normally get, 75% if you're not racing tournaments, and apparently 100% if you are racing in a tournament. And then you'll get 2 times that as well, all the way up until that tank is empty. So if you equip 50 of them, your tank is full to 50,000 XP, and it'll be there until you use it. And that's why you need to be careful. You can't empty that tank. You can't transfer it from one horse to another. So if you hit 500, that's wasted, at least in the current game. That may change down the road, but so important things to think about there. Appreciate the questions. If anybody else has any other questions, pop them in there. Keith, you got to run?
I got a couple more minutes if you got something pointed. Otherwise,
I'll love Zed. You'll just talk about Zed all day.
All day long. You know me.
So, okay, what else did we want to talk about here, Keith? I had a couple.
I saw your rundown earlier. That seemed like we got most of it, but you tell me what else.
So let's see.
I actually haven't equipped any yet, to be perfectly honest. I've minted 2, haven't equipped, haven't used any. So I don't. The mechanics I know you already handled, but I actually have not done most of that.
So max level horses, they don't acquire XP. And there's no stable XP. That's one thing some people seem upset about.
That was the bug earlier, just to keep everyone in the loop. There was a bug when it was released. Max level horses, so a level 500 in class 2, was earning stable XP when it should not have been. It has been fixed by Zed, but
right. So I don't think people should be upset about this.
No, I agree.
I think it's really a pretty big part of the game. Like, ultimately, it should incentivize classing up when you can. If you got a Genesis horse at 500 right now, it's an incentive if you want to gain that XP. But like, you can't have these 500 level and 400 level horses just sitting there forever, preying on people and gaining XP like infinitely, right? I just don't think that's good for the game, and big stables would be able to do that. So
it should keep them out of freeze and stuff too, which should be good for the average user, right? Because like, if you were going to just sit there and farm, if let's say you have a max level horse, it's actually not great, right? For any certain particular format, you could just sit there and farm XP at a higher rate because you're going to be winning more in free races. You're going to be getting that top prize. And it would just make the rich richer. So I actually agree with Zed on that one. That's the way it should be.
It's a rare time that Keith now agrees with Zed. Mark that down. I'm going to put that on recording.
They're right. I will say it.
I'm going to send that recording to Ryan, and you're never going to live it down. So yes, let's see. Other thing on my list here, I had some things like kind of unanswered questions here. You talked about the maiden horses, and Kevin and I talked about this on the Legends League stream with Jake last night. We missed you, by the way, Keith.
I know. Sorry,
are you
be there last night?
Are you available next Thursday night? We're going to have you and Jake hopefully with us for the finals. Awesome. Yeah, that'll be a fun 4-way. But anyway,
I should be in. Yep.
Awesome. We talked about maiden horses. Should XP NFTs be eligible? Because like, theoretically, they should be able to program it right where you can't put an XP NFT on a horse until it's got 40 races. So
yes, I haven't heard a great argument. I didn't hear your stream last night. I wasn't around. I haven't heard a great argument as to why they shouldn't be able to. So I'm fully supportive of, after your Griffin race, you throw on an XP NFT and race to your heart's content. Yes, maybe it creates somewhat of an unfair disadvantage, but you're also not immediately gaining all that XP, right? So like, you're still not going to move the needle. If you're in the mid to high parts of a class, you're not going up more than a handful of levels more than you would have otherwise, unless you're in a tournament getting that XP bonus in like the maiden or something. That's where it's going to really move the needle, but that is only helping you after the fact, right? Like, that's not, it might help you in the finals if you've made it through the quarterfinals and semifinals and then leveled up a ton, but it's not going to help you get there. So I'm not too worried about the maiden event itself being hurt if people equip. If I equip all my maiden horses with XP NFTs, I'm really not getting an edge in the 5 or however many races I have to qualify. So I'm okay with it. I'm open to hearing others' opinions as to why that shouldn't be allowed, but as of now, I'm good with that.
I think there's decent arguments on both sides. theoretically, if you've got more resources, maybe it's an advantage to you, and you could run, you know, it again rewards the grind, right? Of
Yep.
like, I'm going to run 8 races per day for 4 I guess it depends how long the maiden is too, right? If it's a two-day maiden, then
Right.
yeah, there's not that much time. But if it's a week-long maiden, that may
Yep.
change it, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if there's going to be limits on how many races maiden horses can run. There's a lot of unknowns here. But yeah, I think you hit it as well. The concern of like, you've got the somebody can afford to have 50 XP NFTs on their horse, somebody else can't, and the one horse wins in the
Yep.
quarterfinal and has this windfall. The other horse can't afford to do it, so it's kind of
Yep.
an imbalance there. Yeah, I think that's probably the best argument. Kevin and Jake both kind of laid out this idea that, well, maybe that adds a piece that's been missing from the game, where you can then have success in a maiden and have all these XP NFTs equipped and start out with almost level 600 horse.
That's actually the part, for someone who doesn't like current breeding, I've been very open about that, and having horses potentially not land where they would have been if BA passed down differently. That's the part I don't think you're going to get fully there. You're still going to need to basically win the maiden or at least do well in the tournament. But that gets you closer to maybe getting the outcome of a horse you might want. Let's say you end up low C1, fine, you can compete in the maiden because most of the other horses outside of the super breeds are also going to be low C1. But let's say, I had Facundo's Rug, horse I bred with Verve, win the maiden maybe 2-3 months ago. And I think it started at like 513 or something. So, lower than super breed, but clear variant. And it went, I think, like 211 or something through the maiden. If I had XP NFTs, I got it now to maybe like 555, but I haven't really been racing it much. I got it up through the 550. But the maiden itself probably only brought it to like 535 or something. If I had the NFTs equipped to it, I could probably get close to like 600 pretty quickly, right? And then, okay, now all of a sudden you're starting to think, hey, this horse can actually get to 700 in a maybe reasonable amount of time. So I'm actually okay with that line of thinking. You still got to get lucky and win the maiden or do well in it to make it matter, but those are the areas where I think it could actually work.
Yeah, I think anything that adds back a little bit of that rush to the game that we've been missing since breeding 2.0 left, and you could breed that immediate killer. Like that's what we're all missing from the game. That's why you hate Zed right now. It's like we were addicted to that immediate,
right.
Like, oh, we got to kill a horse, right? And it's gone, and it sucks. So yeah, if you could bring something back that gives us that rush, and that's why I think these lottery aspects, if it could be an NFT XP NFT lottery, we can get 100x multiplier on a 100,000 XP NFT, or these progressive jackpots, this kind of stuff is where I think resources should be focused in the near future after we get sit and goes. Keith, real quick, we had Marajo. I don't know. Kevin won't let me promote. Marajo would be at level 600. Level 620 probably if it were just me, but Kevin
likes money too much.
He insists that we should keep Marajo in class 2. We're not even running Marajo in class 2, but he thinks there's going to be better opportunities, and he believes that Zed is going to give that level class up incentive where you take some of the aging off, which seems intuitive, right? So I don't think it's happening. We'll see. Maybe they'll do something that changes Kevin's mind, but he keeps fighting me on it. Any tools in existence that can calculate, or this is what we're saying, somebody's got to create this tool. Somebody's probably working on it right now. The best thing that I've got to share is this link that BG shared, and I'll put it in the chat again. But here it is. If you're watching the replay, maybe you can take down all those numbers or just go to BG's Twitter and ask him for it. But this shows like how much XP for each bloodline to get from level to level essentially in this thing. So it's pretty useful. Anything else here? Taco, what's up, man? Welcome. Yeah, Kevin is pretty smart. He's decent at this game.
He's done okay.
I think that's pretty much everything, unless anybody else has any other questions. I mean, the only other stuff that I had to talk about was kind of the evolution of this. And, if we think that Zed is going to scale back XP multipliers for tournaments, this was something that I talked about on the stream last night, Keith. I mean, Facundo has referred to them playing this role of central bank, which I said yesterday is, I know, terrifying to some people, but they see themselves like pulling the levers. And if racing volume is down and they want it up, then they're going to probably add higher XP multipliers to incentivize people to race for tournaments. I think right now I see them probably scaling it back, and this is just blind speculation because there's going to be this, again, honeymoon phase with these XP NFTs. And, there's always this little bit of excitement when new stuff comes in Zed. And I think racing volume will probably be healthy for the next week or two. And so they could probably scale, like they don't want to flood the XP market, right? It needs to have value for this to work. So it's going to be interesting. They have to add more layers to this game to make it more exciting and incentivize people to play for prestige. And you got to be having fun playing this game, like you've identified so often, Keith. Like when it just feels like a grind, it's just not going to succeed, and there's not going to be value to XP. So hopefully they've got other stuff up their sleeve, right?
Yeah, I agree, and I don't have any insight, but I share your sentiment. So I guess we'll wait and find out.
Big Boot Horses is struggling with his thoughts on max level horses. If ran in the correct distance, aren't all horses the same-ish? Just have different variants, maybe slightly different distance preference, like 1100 instead of 3000 or 1200. Well, yeah, I mean, Ryan has maintained that there's even small differences in distance preference in variants make massive difference once horses are at max level. Is that true at 700? Still to be determined. We know that variance is going to be overpowering unless they change something to increase the value of variance in the level formula. I mean, like the horses with the most variance are going to be the most dominant horses. Fortunately, they're going to age out. They're still going to have their, 8 races per month once they've reached max age. Yeah. But forever, they're going to be the best horses in the game unless breeding 3.2 does something to change that. But there's definitely differences, right, Keith? It's just, is there enough differences between all these level 500 horses? I don't know.
That's my issue in a nutshell with the current system, is when you set things, not only are you setting class systems and racing close to each other in terms of which horses can race other horses, but when you then put a cap on it, and BA is the thing that's been moved the most as you progress higher. That's kind of my concern, is that you will have horses too similar. I think it's probably a little more nuanced than the question asked, where there are levels of variance, there are levels of DP there. But I agree with the general sentiment of it. That's a reason why I like the idea of power creep coming from breeding, because you have so many more different combinations, and you have, basically bell curves of BA, variance, and DP that are getting passed down from the parents, rather than having one of those kind of set by the breed type and the other two having the bell curve. So you just have so many more, a wider dispersion of outcomes, and then you don't all move to the same place. So I agree with your sentiment. It's probably a little more nuanced than that, but that is generally kind of, I think, one of the downfalls. And we're now going to get more horses getting there faster too. So that's going to make it more of a pain, I think.
Yeah, and I think the key to this entire system, as we've been saying for months and months, is more users. Like when everybody's got the game figured out, like 90% of us playing the game now, like we get varying degrees of expertise on this, but it's like everybody's an expert that's left in the game. So yeah, these 500 level 500 horses are all good that are racing, right? Because you figure out pretty quick, like, well, my balance just went to 0. I should probably stop racing and maybe go to Gamblers Anonymous here. But yeah, if you've got like a lot of new users and there's other ways to play the game, and you got these people that are playing just for XP stable gains, and if you've got these progressive pots and all this other stuff going on, then you start to see the differences in these level 500s, because a lot of the lesser ones come off the bench, right? Like we got tons of level 500 horses and we're not running them because we know, like, here's the handful that actually have the best chance at being profitable in this current environment, which is still a really tough environment. And it has been for over a year in Zed, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think you said it well. So we'll see. There's a lot of moving pieces now. There's probably more to come, but we'll see how it all plays out.
Here's one before we let you go here, Keith. One last good point from Phantom Fury.
Yep.
He's talking about how it's nice to see the stable XP climb. And I think that those are some of the small things that are missing from the game. Just that like positive feedback loop where it's like being arbitrage, like, and having Kevin racing, it's like our stable balance for the past 2 years has like just been climbing and climbing, right? And that feels good. It's like a fun game when you're doing that, right? If you're not Kevin and you're not arbitrage, you don't have that. But with the stable XP climbing progressively, you get a kind of a taste of that. We'll see if that does continue to scratch the itch, but it is one of those positive feedback loops that Zed has needed, and it needs more of them, right?
I agree. Yeah. And if you have the time, now you're incentivized to just throw bad horses in free races and at least at minimum get that stable XP higher and put them to the horses you actually want to race in paid. So I agree. Yeah.
Welcome, Blue Cat Gaming. Welcome to Zed.
Welcome.
We've got, despite what you'll see out on Twitter, we do have a really good community here that is supportive, and you can connect with a lot of people in the Zed Discord and stuff, and they'll help you out to learn the game and potentially even give you horses or something. So, Keith, we'll let you run. I
Awesome.
think I'm going to do a horse giveaway here for those that have stuck around, and we'll get you back on next Thursday for the live stream of the Zed Legends League, the playoffs, the funnel playoffs. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I don't know if you saw, Keith, but Verve is now in the relegation race. So that's going to be in 2 weeks. So we need to pray for Verve that the variance comes at the right time in this one relegation race.
All right. Well, I'm excited for that. So I'll see you then. And thanks for having me on today.
Thanks for coming on, Keith. You're the man. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. I need to figure out how to do this raffle. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. If you got any other questions, drop them in there while I figure out how to do a horse raffle. Let's see. Streamlabs. So yeah, I really do like what the product that Zed put out for the XP NFTs. I can't be too vocal about it out on social media, or I just get a lot of crap for being too positive, and I can say it here with people in the stream. It really isn't. I think that anybody can say it that's used the minting. It's really smooth process, and they did a really good job on it. Which, I mean, whatever you want to say about Zed and your frustrations with the path that they're going, at least they're able to put out a quality product launch like this that looks nice, and it's a really good user experience. And that has me being optimistic, even though I am always glass half full on Zed. All right. Got an elite horse. We're going to do an elite horse giveaway. Let me find the horse first so I can put the link to this horse in my giveaway raffle here. It's going to be a UUU from our arbitrage sales stable. All right, let's see. This one looks good. Oh yeah, this one looks fun. Bear with me here for another minute. We'll get somebody a free horse. Okay. Starting the giveaway up. Exclamation point raffle to enter this giveaway for this elite. Its parents are Notorious Boom and Volatile AK. Really fun marathon bloodline here. There's Ready, Set, Boom, Blood. Notorious Boom is Notorious and Supreme Boom were the parents. So if you're familiar with those horses, it's a really fun bloodline. And Volatile AK is Volatile Artist and AK, I think. So some really nice marathoners in here. So put exclamation point raffle into the chat like everybody else is doing. We got 21 entries here. We'll give this horse away. If anybody else has any last questions, let me scroll back through. Let's see. Issues. Listing XP on Haku. I was having issues transferring. I was trying to transfer horses on Haku, so I reached out to them, and they said they hadn't had any report of it. So I think it might be something with our wallet that needs to be troubleshot. But yeah, if you tag Cryptog in Zed General or Bryce, they should be able to help you out and figure out why you're having the issue, because I haven't seen a whole lot of people talking about that. All right, we'll give you another 10 seconds to get in on this raffle, everybody. What's up, Kaiju? Leaf, Trots, everybody's out there. Thanks for coming to the stream. This will be available on Twitch and YouTube for viewing after if you didn't catch all of it. On this show, I went through purchasing Zed token from Sushi Swap, and I guess you can swap for it on MetaMask too. I'm not familiar with doing that. It's probably easier than what I did on Sushi Swap, but that's the way that I normally do it. So I did that, and then I minted an XP NFT, and then I equipped that to a horse. Keith and I explained our kind of strategy right now and determining which horses they'll be best used on. And then we just talked about a bunch of other random XP NFT stuff. So if you didn't catch any of it, or if you didn't catch all of it, go back through and give it a listen. Thanks for coming out, Trots. Appreciate it. Okay, let's draw this raffle winner. 24 entries. Last chance, exclamation point raffle to get in on this. Oh, you know what? Let me give you another minute. If you're out there on YouTube, it won't let you in. You need to come over to Twitch. I forgot about that. I got this set up on Twitch. I want to make sure everybody gets in on this raffle. So it's twitch.tv/arbitrage run. Let me drop the link in here. I'll give you guys another 60 seconds to come on over to Twitch to get into this raffle. You also need to be following. You need to be following our channel to be eligible, or it won't pick you. Hands are tied here, guys. We're up to 26 entries. There's 31 of you in here, so 5 more of you. Get on over to Twitch, click follow, and then put exclamation point raffle in. Taco, man, your golf swing looked good out there, buddy. Where were you playing? Was that the California coast somewhere? I don't think I've mentioned it, but I'm going to Scotland in 3 weeks. Going to play Carnoustie and St. Andrews. So I'm pretty excited. Pretty excited for that trip. Hopefully they got good internet out there. Next Pulse. Hopefully it will be out tomorrow. I don't know if I'm supposed to commit to that with the Zed timelines and all, but fingers crossed in the US. Hopefully it'll be out tomorrow. I would say Saturday at the latest, unless there's some disaster or something. We haven't recorded it yet, but looking forward to it. Should be fun. All right. Everybody's had enough time. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about this Scotland trip. Going with my dad and a couple other friends. I'm going to draw the winner for this raffle and we'll get out of here, guys. 29 people in. We almost got everybody in. All right. We'll draw it. Closing entries. Pick winner. Here we go, 36. Congratulations. You out there? Here we go, 36. You must be. Nice, man. Congrats. I hope this horse treats you well. Hopefully we have a maiden announcement soon. I mentioned on the Legends League stream, whenever they do announce the maiden, we're going to open up the Zombie Maiden. We've got it all ready to go. We're assuming that it's still on track for Sunday night, Monday morning. I don't know if anybody in the chat has any information, if they've shared anything, updates on the maiden yet. But whenever they do, zombie.racing, we're going to open up the Zombie Maiden again, run it back with the same format, and we'll see how that works with XP NFTs. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I think pretty big advantage to the legendaries, being most of the Class 1 horses are going to be legendaries, right? It's going to be a pretty big advantage to the Class 1 horses since they can progress kind of unlimited, right? in the grand final anyway. But Across did just win that last one, so anybody's game in the Zombie Maiden. Anyway, congrats again to Here We Go. Thanks for coming out, everybody. If you have any other XP NFT questions, hit me up on Twitter at Zed Diamond Hands. I'll try my best to give you the information that I have. I think I understand this stuff pretty well. I've been thinking about it for like 4 months while we've waited for it. So I have some information. Oh, here we go. Yes, hit me up on Twitter at Zed Diamond Hands. For some reason, my DMs are open, but it's not letting people that I don't follow DM me for some reason, even though it says they're open. So if you just tag me there or hit me up in Discord, we'll get it to you. So, all right. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for coming out. If you just showed up, check out the replay of this. I think there's some good information. We had Keith on, had a good time talking to him. All right, take it easy, everybody. Good luck with those XP NFTs. Oh, let me play our sweet Zed Legends League outro here.